Hello and welcome. My name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Today is going to be a look back on my goals and what I met and didn't meet for 2024, and also my new goals for 2025. Apologies if you can still hear that my voice isn't right and all that. I'm just still, after 10 days now, I think it is, or something along those lines, I've still got the drag ends of this horrible cold I've had. And just if I do cough, clear my throat, sniffle a bit, I do apologise for that. I'm a little bit gutted today because I haven't seen Mona since before Christmas, and we were supposed to be meeting up last week to do this goals video. And then we were supposed to be meeting again today to do a goals video. And yeah, it's just not happened. I wouldn't want her to come and be inflicted with all the germs that are running around this house at the moment, unfortunately. Although I would absolutely love to see her, because it feels like absolutely ages since we've seen each other. Hopefully though, sometime soon we will be able to record a video, the two of us, and we'll have to have a think about what we're going to do. I didn't want to leave it any longer doing the goals video, because I wanted to make sure I'd set in motion what I wanted to do and hear about all your goals and what you're going to be doing, if you have any, for your knitting hobby for the next 12 months or beyond. Okay, so if you've been here for any time, you'll know already, but otherwise I'll explain. Last year I decided to take part in Giddy Yarn's bingo crafting challenge, which was a really light-hearted and easy way to set yourself 9 goals for the year. And it's a bingo card, and the rules were very relaxed. No pressure. There is a Discord group for anyone that wants to get involved and chat, and lots of people giving encouragement in there, which has been really nice. I must admit I was more active in the first half of the year compared to the second half, but it's been lovely to see everybody else trying to achieve their goals. And so the idea behind it is that it is like a bingo board, and you're trying to get a full house by the end of the year. And you decide what those goals are. She also does allow some changes to be made mid-year if you realise that some of those goals are unachievable. So yeah, like I say, it's very relaxed. So I'll put up on the screen here, and I'll also discuss now last year's. So in the end, I ended up achieving 7 out of my 9 goals, which I'm pretty pleased about. And these are what I had on my board. So I finished Wayne's sweater, knit a pair of slippers, take part in the winter set knit along, knit 6 pairs of socks from Stash Yarn, use my Alice in Wonderland advent, finish last year's blanket MCAL, monitor my yarn in and out to hopefully reduce stash, use as many leftovers as possible, complete or frog all whips started in 2023. So the 2 that I didn't do for the end of the year, and I will tell you what those are first. And the main one is my advertence blanket. This was a MCAL from 2023. I am just past the halfway mark in that. It was done by Expression Fibre Arts, which is a American yarn dyeing company, and I did actually buy all the recommended yarns. and it was one different skein per month. The blanket is mosaic knitting, and I'll put a picture up at the side. It's an absolutely fantastic pattern. It isn't overly difficult, but you do need to concentrate, and it is written and charted in the pattern. The yarn's absolutely stunning that I'm using to make it. But yeah, I didn't get that finished last year, unfortunately. So that's probably going to be added to the list again for this year, because I really did want to get it done. I think I've just lost steam on the project, and like I say, once it got to the end of 2023 and I saw actually how big that was going to be, it looks like it would go to the floor, go up round my neck and back down to the floor. And you'll see that in her picture. And I think I kind of got overwhelmed by it, to be fair. And I've still got, each clue has a lot of knitting involved. So I need to come up with a plan with that one. I haven't decided what yet. Like I say, I've still got 6 more colours to add. I've got 6 more to add in. Something along those lines. I haven't had that out for absolutely ages. I did get in the rhythm at one point of doing a bit each day. But yeah. So the other one that I didn't meet is to knit a pair of slippers. Now, I have knit one slipper, as you know, if you've watched my, I think it was it in my podcast? No, maybe it was in my Vlogmas. Anyways, yeah, I have started a pair of slippers for my mum. And I've knit one, and I've actually cast on the second one. So once I pick that up and do it, it shouldn't really take me that long to get that finished. It's just, it is one of them patterns where you have to do quite a bit of short rows, picking up stitches, counting your rows. So you do need to concentrate. I've just not been feeling up to that in the last week or so, but I will get back to that very soon, hopefully. Mum did try the slipper on as well, and it does fit. So, and I'm doing that in a Malbrigo chunky in a nice red colour. And I'm sure she'll get a lot of use out of them. So everything else that was on my bingo board for last year, I did achieve, which I think is pretty good. Although I will admit I did change some of them in mid-year. I changed the advent I was going to use, and I did use my advent, which is good, and I have actually some Alice in Wonderland advent that I used. I made the rocket tee, which I absolutely love, but it's a little bit short, so I have put the yarns aside that I need for the extra stripes, and I am actually going to, as part of my goals, crack on with that in February. I knit 6 pairs of socks from Stash Yarn. Some of those have now been frogged, but I knit way more than the 6, so I'm definitely taking that as done. I finished Dwayne's sweater, which was the single malt, and that was knit in a drops yarn. I think it might have been Charisma, but I could be wrong with that. That pattern was yeah, really enjoyable knit. I did my winter set knit along. That was the fingerless mitts and the headband. Now, yeah, the using the Alice in Wonderland advent, I did change that, because originally I was going to use my Blue Fern Fade advent, and that's the one I'd put on my board for last year. But then I was really struggling to come up with something to use with that yarn. and it's taken me a while to find the pattern I'm happy with. Now I have found a pattern, and it's a lace pattern, so hopefully at some point this year that will be cast on, but I'm not sure when. So I've got also here monitor yarn in and out to hopefully reduce stash. Now at the beginning of the year I did put that I wanted to reduce my stash. I only have a small cupboard. If you've seen any of my stash videos, you'll see that all my yarn, tools, equipment, everything I have in one little cupboard that is under my stairs in my lounge. And there isn't much room. I try and keep it organised, but it's very difficult. What I would, and what I wanted to do last year was reduce my stash to enable me to keep it more organised. Because if I have less yarn in there, then it is easier to find the yarn and to find all my tools and everything that I need. I think I've got it to a good place now, but there's just a bit too much stuff in there, if that makes sense. And yeah, so middle of the year, after going to Woolly Good Gathering, I really didn't think that I was going to reduce my stash, but what I was enjoying doing and what I really thought would be beneficial to me was monitoring my ins and outs anyway. I wanted to make sure that for my outs I was monitoring the quantity of yarn that I was knitting through, and this information has been invaluable. And I've not got the figure to hand, but I think it's in my little book. I'll just get it. I keep forgetting the exact figure. I think it's something like 74 skeins, but I'll just double check again because I've written it down in here, thankfully. This notebook's been invaluable. Yeah, so 74.5 skeins is what I managed to actually knit. Now, if I gave any yarn away or anything like that, I did not write that in here, or if I did any swaps or anything like that. I only tracked what I knit through. And the reason I wanted that figure was because I wanted to know, going forward with what I have in stash, how long it's going to take me to knit through that stash. So in the end I ended up the year with plus 2,097 grams, so almost 21 skeins added to my stash, and that's mainly because of the 2 yarn festivals that I went to, which was the Woolly Good Gathering in April and Yarndale, and also my advents. Now, what I did do last year compared to 2023 is I was a lot more mindful with my purchases. When I went to Woolly Good Gathering, I bought quite a bit of yarn, and let me just check on here because I'll be able to tell you. Are they all? Yeah, all the yarns that I bought in April were from the Woolly Good Gathering, and it was 3,440 grams, so 34 skeins, just over, which that is quite a lot. But I was very mindful with my purchases and I did a lot better. There wasn't a lot of single skeins bought compared to when I went to Yarndale the first time, and I realised quickly that what I wanted to knit wasn't a lot of single skein projects apart from socks. So even though it sounds like a lot of yarn that came in, my purchases were much better from the year before at Yarndale, and I was really pleased with that. And I have now since then been a lot more mindful as well. and I'm buying a lot less single skeins. I've got a lot of single skeins to work through. And yeah, so even though I ended the year on a plus for my stash, I still feel that I've been pretty successful because I've changed what I'm buying. I have bought more garment quantities rather than single skeins, and I now have the information that I need to know with what I've got in stash how long that stash is going to last me. Now I've started use as many leftovers as possible. Complete all frog all whips started in 2023. I did that. I made a conscious effort, I think it was August, September, to work on that, and use as many leftovers as possible. I am using as much as I can into my incredible blanket, so I'm classing that as achieved. Now, going forward into 2025, so I've put on here, track yarn in and out all year with the intention to reduce stash. So my aim is to reduce stash, but if I don't, I will still class that as done, because the information itself is valuable and it makes you mindful of what you're buying. I've also put log current yarn in stash in a spreadsheet, and these tie together. So now, along with tracking my ins and outs, so how much I managed to knit through, how much I use, and it might get a bit more detailed this year, that if I do, because I'm going to be logging my stash as it stands at this moment, because I'd organised that cupboard and I have things organised into, organised as best I can in that small space. I have my garment or top or quantities that are set aside for a pattern. I have them in all in Ziploc bags, and they are kept together. And then I have my single skeins in a basket, and then I do have a separate bag which is for minis, a separate bag for leftovers, and then I have one bag that is summer fibres. Any that I've got that most of my summer yarns are in that bag. So all my I have started logging my stash, and I started doing that yesterday. And what I did was I went through and I logged all my sweater or garment quantities. I also logged my advents, and the only thing I've got left to log is so I've not logged any amounts that are currently being used for a whip, and I've not logged any of my minis, and I won't log those because they're just used for random bits here and there. And I haven't logged my single skeins yet. Kind of think that's going to be a big task. But after logging all my garments, and I will check the figure. So after logging my garment quantities and tops and my advents and all the bits that I have put together for specific projects in my Ziploc bags, I have 156.3 skeins in stash. Now that means that if I was just to knit through those yarns that I have logged, I have got around 2 years worth of yarn in stash. So that's a good thought to have in your mind when you're wanting to reduce stash or not, because the space I have, the capacity for stash, is really at full at the moment. So I don't want to say to myself, because it is a hobby, that I'm going to be on a yarn ban. And I have got 2 lots of yarn that are coming in that were ordered last year. So again, if you've been here before, you'll know that I have last year and the year before, I've taken part in the Ula and Leah Kickstarter. Now what happens is, I think it's around June, July time, they send out a message to people asking for support, and what you do is you back them, and that enables them to go over to Mongolia, get yarn and well, get the fibre and all that, and do all the yarn making and everything in Mongolia, and then they it takes them about 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, to do the whole process, and you get to follow along and get regular updates and stuff, but you make a pledge to them for a set amount of yarn, and you get that at a discount price because you're pledging up front. So and since having the yarns the first year, I haven't knit through all what I purchased the first time, but I knew that I really like their yarns. Most of them are tonally dyed, which is good for wardrobe staples, and yeah, you do get them at a reduced rate. They're not the good quality yarns. It's free range animals, you know where all your fibre is coming from, and I really enjoy supporting them as part of my knitting hobby. So I have already pre-ordered that in the summer, and in the next couple of weeks my order is about to arrive, and I think it's 12 skeins in total that I have ordered. And the main bulk of what I ordered and my main pledge was for 8 skeins of cashmere in a duck egg blue sort of colour. I'll put it up on the screen so that you can see, because I have got some images of the colours. I've also got, and that's the DK weight, so if you've got any suggestions of what I can knit with that would be great. But that's 12 skeins that are coming into my stash. I've got 3 fingering purple, and then I've got 1, and I can't remember the third colour, but I'll put it up on the screen, and that's another fingering. So the main 8 skeins are DK, cashmere and the duck egg, and then I've got, like I say, because I wanted to make sure that I had a good quantity to make something really nice with that yarn. The other thing that I've got coming in that I've already pre-ordered is a Winter Garden book and yarn set, and that's from the Copper Kettle. Other than that, I can't foresee me buying any yarn at all until East Anglia Yarn Festival. Obviously I will be buying some yarn while I'm there, but I'm hoping that that will be a lot less than I would normally get. So that's 13 skeins extra, sorry, that I'm going to be adding to my stash, but I'm already aware that they are coming in. I will put them on the spreadsheet. I will add them to my ins for January, because I'll probably get, well, no, actually I think the Copper Kettle might be February. But I have put, so that's all the information regarding tracking it. My spreadsheet set up. I've tracked most, about half of my yarn, I'd say. I just need to track the single skeins. I'm going to track in and out all year again, because I really value that information. I'm hoping to reduce my stash. If I could reduce it to the point where I just had the single skein basket and then the garment basket, that would be great, but that may not be achievable. Depends on how many yarn festivals I end up at this year. And I have put on here that I want to use the Ula and Leah cashmere. So if you've got any pattern recommendations for that, I am currently around a 37-inch bust, and I'm going to have 8 skeins of the DK weight cashmere. And I'd love to make something really nice with that. I was thinking actually there's a couple of cardigans that I like, but I don't know if I will have enough yarn with that, but I'll have to have a look. So I'll tell you what they are, because they are on my Ravelry queue. The other thing is, I suppose I wouldn't mind if I had like 1 or 2 skeins left over that I could use for accessories, but I would like to make the most of having a larger quantity of the DK weight yarn to make something that's going to use a lot of that yarn up in the same project. That makes sense. So just get my cue. I think it's called the Weekend Cardigan. Let me have a look. I have mentioned these two before. There's 2 like bulkier cardigans that I really fancy having a go at. But I can't remember what yarn weights they call for. Watch this, they won't even be in my list and I'll be searching through it. I'm sure I've mentioned them before. So it's the November Jacket by Petite Knit. I don't know if that's Fisherman's or Brioche, but it looks absolutely stunning, and I think that would be nice. But it does say it's Aran weight, so I'm not sure if that would be suitable. And I can't remember who the other one was by, but it's not even on there anymore. Anyways, yeah, pattern suggestions please for that yarn, and then I can be having a think about what I want to make and when I'm going to cast it on. So the other things that are on for 2025 is that I would like to, bearing in mind that I've got quite a lot of garment quantities in stash, what I thought I might do is, and I've got them all easily, well, the ones that I want to cast on soonish, so I've got about 8 or 10 or maybe 12 of my garment quantities in the basket at the front of my cupboard. And what I want to do is the first of the month, I'm not going to make a set plan for this because I want it to be not a lucky dip as such, but I want it to be where I can go with where the mood takes me. But on the first of the month, I want to, regardless of what else is going on knitting wise for me, I would like to dive into that basket, have a look at what yarns are calling out to me at the time, and cast on something from my stash garment to knit. I also want to do the same with my single skeins and do a pair of socks each month, hopefully to add to my box of socks, which is very, very sparse at the moment. Although I have got those 2 pairs on the needles, which is good. I think I really need to do some sort of a whip roundup very, very soon. Show you what's left on my needles, what we're working to and all that. Probably part of Finish Frog February, which is another one of my goals for 2025. And I want to, in February, I am wanting to go through all my whips, all my garments, decide, fix. So I've got the rocket tee, that's definitely there that I want to fix, and fix that, frog anything that's on my needles that I'm not going to finish, and pick up some older whips and get them done. And I thought that would be a nice one to do in February. Obviously, I've put on here to finish my advertence blanket, which is the 2023 MCAL blanket I was talking about. I also would like to plan my gift knits this month, and I would like to ensure that any gift knits that I am doing for next Christmas I've finished before December. Found it quite not stressful as such, but in December, with Advent and all that sort of thing, and wanting to knit on my blanket, because I do like doing that a lot in December, opening those mini skeins each year. Although this year I might make myself a calendar from Stash and knit that into my blanket. That might be quite good fun. If I get that organised quite early on in the year as well, I'll probably forget what I've put in it. That might be quite a good way to think, because yeah, so plan gift knits in January and finish before December, so I've got time to do the other bits that I want to do in December. You know, maybe I want to knit a garment in time for Christmas Day. Maybe I want to knit on my blanket just through December. It just means that that's all done, no pressure, and I can just enjoy the build up to Christmas. I want to use one of my 2024 advents. So I got 2 advents this year. I got the Fibre Fox, which was the 24-day witching hour minis fades, and I got fingering weight 20 gram minis. I also got the Christmas Day main skein, and Mona kindly gifted me her DK main day skein. So I'm thinking with those main skeins I might make myself some sort of scarf with the fingering weight, and I've actually seen one that Marlene has knit, which looks kind of like a Sophie shawl, but a bit different. It's got a mixture of stockinette and garter, which I thought that looked really nice. So I might give that pattern a go with my fingering skein, and with my the DK skein that Mona kindly gave me. I would love to make probably a pair of mittens, I think, with that. So they're a kind of a matching set. But yeah, I do want to, that won't be classed as doing that. I want to use up that advent, or my other advent that I got was the blue fern, and I got the 4-week. Now with that, I'm potentially thinking of doing a shawl, but I haven't decided. I've seen one shawl pattern that I quite like, but I might do the blue ferns with that, as it being a fade. Who knows? I keep going up and down with what I want to do. So again, if you've got any advent pattern suggestions, pop them in the comments. I do like having a look at those. And I think that's everything. So just to round up, I'm going to read out my 9 to you. So I want to track yarn in and out all year with the intention to reduce my stash. Cast on 1 garment a month. Cast on 1 pair of socks each month. Finish my advertence blanket. Do fix or finish or frog in February. Use my Ula and Leah cashmere. Plan gift knits in January and finish before December. Use one of my 2024 advents, and log current yarn in stash in a spreadsheet. So I have already started making a little bit of progress with some of these, which is good. And I will update you as the year goes along in my podcast on what's happening. I'm not sure what Mona's put on hers or if she's even finished hers, but we hadn't discussed it yet. We were going to discuss that today. So maybe she'll pop in the comments some of the things that she's planning to do next year. I do think that she is, well, I know she's definitely currently in the process of logging her stash, which her stash is significantly larger than mine, so that is quite a task. But she's doing a bit each day, which I think is a great idea. And she has suggested that's what I should do, the single skeins, because I think they're the hardest ones to log. And I definitely think she wants to reduce her stash. But it's so hard, isn't it, when you've got, and there's dyers that you want to support. Maybe it's all about balance. Anyways, let me know in the comments what your goals are, if you've set any for 2025. I know not all of us do the goals for our hobby, but my hobby takes up, you know, a significant chunk of my time, and I want to be knitting garments I love, being productive, all that sort of thing, while it's still being an absolute pleasure and being mindful of the amount I am spending and using and all those sorts of things. So let me know what you are planning for the next year, if you've made any plans. If not, happy knitting as always, and I will see you on Friday for the podcast. Have a lovely day. Bye.